Welcome everyone. Tuesday night and Michelle's formula for success. So tonight we're just going to go through 3 different time management techniques just to give you an idea of the different ways that you can look at helping to manage your time. And you may not like any of them, you may like all of them. One may resonate more than the others, but anyway, let's have a look at them and we'll just see what you think. So as I said, Michelle's formula for let me start that again. Michelle's formula for success. This is us on a Tuesday night, and tonight it is all about time management techniques. So what we're going to do is let's just kick back. Maybe you might want to grab a cuppa or maybe a glass of vino, just settle in and find out a little bit more about some of the ingredients that actually make up Michelle's formula for success. So each week we are exploring a different topic and how you will be able to take some or all of the information that I'm giving you and immediately implement these ideas in your business, because we really want to see everybody on the path to growth and success. Now, for me, my purpose is to help business owners succeed. So the more knowledge and skills that I can share with you, the more opportunity I have to help and support you. So really, it's a win-win. So tonight, we're just going to explore 3 of some of the more popular time management techniques. There are many, many techniques around. So have a listen, see if any of them resonate for you. You may already be using one or all of these techniques. If none of these appeal for you, or you feel like they won't work for you, don't worry. There are actually plenty of other options. And if you're not sure where to find information about that or not sure what to do, you know that you can always reach out to me and just ask me a question. So how many of you actually feel that there is simply never enough time to do everything you have to do? You are literally swamped with business and personal responsibilities, endless emails, social media, projects, and that pile of books that you intend to get to one of these days as soon as you are caught up. But the fact is, I hate to burst your bubble, but you are never going to get caught up. You'll never get on top of all your tasks. You will never get far enough ahead to get all of those emails, books, and leisure time activities done that you want to do. Now, before you run screaming from the room or slam your computer shut, what I want you to start thinking about right now is this. You actually can get control of your time and your life only by changing the way that you think about the work that you do and how you deal with that never-ending river of responsibilities that just flows over you every day. You can get control of your tasks and activities only to the extent that you stop doing some things and you start spending more time on the activities that will really make a difference in your life. Now, what does all that mean? So if I said to you, what about considering this rule? You can get your life and your time under control only to the degree that you discontinue lower value activities. So one of the most powerful words in not only time management, but in life is the word no. Say it politely. Say it clearly so there are no misunderstandings. Say it regularly as part of your normal routine and your normal time management vocabulary. Now, Warren Buffett's response when he was once asked what is the secret of his success, he said, simple. I just say no to everything that is not absolutely vital to me at that moment. And given that Warren Buffett is one of the richest men in the world, I probably think we should be listening to what he's saying. So what I'm suggesting to you is say no to anything that is not a high value use of your time and your life. Don't say it rudely, but just say it graciously and firmly so that you can avoid agreeing to something you either don't want to do or you actually don't need to do. And remember, for you to do something new, you need to either complete something, for example, a one-off project, or you need to actually stop doing something that you are already doing. Think of it this way: picking up a task means putting down something else. The other way I've heard this expressed is when you say yes to somebody or when you say yes to something, make sure you clearly understand what you're saying no to. For example, if you agree to take on an extra project which is going to require you to work extra hours, maybe at night and on the weekends, you're saying yes to that project, but what you're possibly saying no to is your family or your friends or the me time that you had scheduled for yourself. So it is all about balancing. And let's think about using the term creative procrastination. So let's describe that as deliberately and thoughtfully deciding on the exact things you are not going to do right now, if ever. So in essence, you are procrastinating on purpose. One time in your life where procrastinating could be a good thing. So instead of procrastinating on the big and or the important tasks, what you should be doing is deliberately procrastinating on tasks that are of low value. And then this will create the space in your life for the tasks that can really make a huge difference. And it's important to keep regularly reviewing what you do, your tasks and your responsibilities for both your business and for your life, to identify the time-consuming tasks and the activities that you can say no to with no real loss in your life. Think things like cutting down or maybe cutting out time spent watching TV or scrolling social media without a purpose, and adding in those things like time with family, exercising, reading, self-education, rest time, all those things. Now, the second thing I want to talk about, and I'll start off with the quote from Gandhi: there is more to life than just increasing its speed. Now, let's talk about technology in this section. And I think I'd be pretty safe in saying that we all agree that technology can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. So, in my opinion, technology becomes the enemy when we buy into that idea of the obsessive need to communicate continually. This compulsion to stay plugged in leaves us psychologically breathless with no time to stop. And for me, when I was still working in my job, I was often dealing with factories in India and Asia where, you know, their time zone was 3, 4, maybe 5 hours behind me. And I would hear that ping of an email at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, but I'd think, oh, I'll just quickly answer that because then they can move on and get the order done and all those sort of things. But I really wasn't doing myself any favors. So that's what it comes down to. You have a choice. For you to stay calm and optimize your performance, detach regularly from technology that overwhelms you. And research has shown that when you unplug regularly, you can do things like improve your memory, deepen your relationships, and sleep better. And also gives you the capacity to make decisions with more clarity, more sound decisions. And at the extreme, if you stay too plugged in, this can lead to addiction, where you're obsessively checking your phone at all hours of the day and night. Now, for me, Sundays are my step back day. I'm not saying I go completely techie free all day Sunday from, you know, when I get up till when I go to bed. I sometimes do an update on Facebook, especially if I want to promote the community initiative that I'm part of, to sit and chat. But aside from that, I generally, there's nothing until Monday mornings. As I said, not perfect, but my aim is to be as technology free as possible on Sundays, because also, you know, it is the day to refresh, recharge, and, you know, switch your mind off some of the business stuff. So not claiming to be perfect, but at least I have a plan that I'm trying to work to. The other thing is refuse to be a slave. Now, what I mean by that is unchain yourself from your computer or your phone. So when you're looking at your emails, unsubscribe from all the unwanted newsletters and emails, you know, the ones where you've signed up to get a download that interests you, and then you end up, 3 months later with 55,000 emails from them in your inbox. So there's a couple of ways to look at this. You can just apply the 80-20 rule to your inbox by assuming that 80% of what you're getting really has no value, and then reviewing the 20% that's left. And what you'll probably find out of that 20% that's left is there's very few that are really urgent. Now, I don't actually do that, but what I do to try and keep my working inbox decluttered is when I sign up for, you know, an ebook or a free download, or, you know, I'm going to look at a webinar or something like that, I use an old Hotmail email address so that I know that anything that's coming through on that, in that inbox, like I can scroll through it and scan it every now and again if I want to, but nothing in that inbox is ever going to be either critical or urgent. Now, the other way that you can manage this unplugging from your computer is to, and I'm not sure if you've come across this before, you may have if you've read Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek, is to set up an autoresponder on your emails. For example, every time someone sends you an email, they get something back that might say, I check my emails twice a day and will reply as soon as possible. If this is an emergency, phone this number. Now, often when I suggest this idea, I generally get the response that it's not possible because my customers expect me to respond immediately. Well, maybe they do, but if you're in that trap of, feeling like every time a customer sends you an email, you have to jump and you have to respond, have you ever thought about the idea of setting some boundaries and also managing your customer expectations? So for argument's sake, if you clearly define to your customer the times that you are available and when you will respond, this can actually change the way you operate your business. Or you could have something like, I am available between 9 and 5 during the working week. If you need a response or if you need me to do some research and respond to you outside of these times, there will be a fee of whatever. And then that then puts the onus back on them, whether they actually want to accept that fee, or if what they're asking you for is really not that urgent and they can wait until the next business day or till you've had time to do the research. Now, I recognize that there's always going to be an exception to the rule and an outlier, but the majority of the communications that you deal with will fit into that category and they can be managed. Now, I'm just going to share with you too an example of an autoresponder that I actually received recently that I felt was very cleverly written, but it also left me feeling quite satisfied with the exchange and not at all anxious about when I was going to get my reply. So this is it here. So I'll just read it out. Hello there. Your email has arrived in my inbox safe and sound. Currently, I'm head down, working hard on some exciting projects, or you've reached me outside my normal working hours. I promise I won't forget about you, and I will respond within 2 business days, but usually sooner. In the meantime, this might help. Interested in working with me? I can't wait to hear more. I will get back to you as soon as I can, so hang tight. Just so you know, lead time for new work and larger projects is currently around 1 month, but I'm happy to have a quick chat to see what's possible. If you're responding to my email, more than likely I'm already onto it and you'll hear from me again soon. If you need to contact me urgently, shoot me a quick email with the subject heading urgent and my name so I can see you quickly. Otherwise, I look forward to connecting with you real soon. So how does that make you feel? I liked the language. I liked the playful tone. It gave me a feel for, hey, you're important, but like I am a bit busy at the moment. Would you be okay with waiting for a response? And if it was urgent, that you did actually have a way to circumvent the system. And did you also notice how the client expectations are also being managed by putting in a current lead time? So already before the project is even being discussed, you as a potential client have a feel for what the time frame would be. As I said, I liked that and I liked the time. Now, the third one we're going to talk about today is time blocking. Now, this is the one I use all the time. And before we actually talk about this, I want to dispel the myth that once and for all, that once you've time blocked your calendar, that you stick to this absolutely 100% of the time. Now, if that's what you're thinking and if that's what is putting you off doing time blocking, then if you do try it, you're going to be constantly beating yourself up for not ticking all the boxes. And the truth is that none of us are perfect. I've mentioned that already a few times tonight. So, feet of clay. And for me personally, if I can stick to my time blocking more than 75% of the time for the week, I actually feel like I'm doing really well. Because you know what? After all, shit happens and life gets in the way sometimes. But what I can tell you is that if I started the week without the structure and without the framework that time blocking provides, I really feel like I would get a whole lot less done. Now, time blocking actually works on the premise that your calendar records appointments, but the calendar doesn't actually care who the appointment is with. So when you've worked out your number one priority or your key project that you're working on, or your 3 daily tasks, which are linked to the planning process that I teach, or whatever you need to devote time to today, make an appointment with yourself to get it done. Now, there's 3 keys when using time blocking. So the first thing you do is you time block your time off. So you schedule in your time out, because resting is just as important as working. And by planning your time off in advance, what you are doing in effect is managing your work time around your downtime instead of the other way around. Instead of trying to fit in your rest and your time off and your me time around the work stuff you've already put in your calendar, you put that stuff in first, and then you fit your work and your business projects in and around that. So block off a long weekend, block off a holiday, and then actually take them. You'll be more rested, more relaxed, and more productive afterwards. Now, the second key is to time block your priority. And one of the things that will really help this to work is to block your time as early as possible in the day and give yourself a good chunk of the day if you can. Now, obviously for night owls, that's probably not going to work. You might want to do it differently. But generally, most people, their energy levels, their willpower, their creativity, everything is, I'm going to say working better, but at higher levels is probably a good way of thinking about it. But anyway, whatever works best for you, block off a chunk of time. And I'm talking maybe 3 to 4 hours. And this is the time where you're going to do your most important work. And for business owners, this is the time that you allocate for working on your business and not in your business. So as I said, I'm best in the mornings. So unless I have meetings, I block off from 9 o'clock till generally around midday or 1 o'clock. If I do have a meeting in the morning, then I move things around to make sure I still have that block maybe later in the day. And then the third thing that is really key is time block your planning time, because, you know, a time blocked calendar doesn't appear by magic. You actually have to set it up. So for me, the planning time is when you reflect, when you look back at what you got done. And I I usually do my planning. I set aside an hour, maybe Sunday evening or first thing Monday morning, to look at my weekly goals. What did I get done last week? What have I already, what appointments do I have next week? All of those sort of things. And then I fit it all in around. And the other thing I find quite useful too is if you can look at different aspects of what you want to work on. So what I was suggesting is, if you want to do 4 hours on your key project, and you want to do that 5 days a week, that's a big chunk of your week already gone. But then you might want to be spending, 5 hours a week on lead gen, or so many hours a week on sales calls, or so many hours a week on creativity, so many hours a week on doing sessions with clients. So when you know how many hours you want to spend on each key activity, then you can start fitting it together like a bit of a jigsaw puzzle. But for me, my planning cycle looks a little bit like 1 hour on a Sunday evening, and that's when I look at my weekly goals. I also time block usually around about 2 hours late in the month, just to look at my progress for the month and how I'm going for that quarter. And then at the end of the quarter, I set aside, usually I block out a full day. I don't always need it, but I give myself the space to do that. And then what I do then is I look at what is my progress towards my annual priorities. What did I get done in the quarter that we've just worked through? What do I want to do in the next quarter? And what am I resetting my priorities for the next quarter? So that's me in time blocking. Now, one of the questions that I do get asked, or the comment that I get made to me is, I'm one of these people who starts off enthusiastically, jumps in, boots and all, but then I find it difficult to be consistent enough to implement time management techniques every day. So part of this relates to building a habit, but also while you're building that habit, one of the fastest ways to bring consistency and accountability to your life and your routine is to find an accountability partner. So accountability can come from a mentor, a peer, or a coach. Now, whatever you choose, it's critical that you develop an accountability relationship. Now, what I mean by that is that you each have the permission or the license to lay out the honest truth. Not to have a go at people, but to be honest, because there's an accountability partner isn't there to be your cheerleader and tell you that everything you do is just totally awesome. They're meant to be there. Like, they can lift you up and they can encourage you, but they're also meant to provide you with frank, objective feedback on your performance, and also to create an ongoing expectation for progress. And they can also provide brainstorming or even a little bit of mentoring or expertise if that's needed. And for me, a coach is the best choice for me. Even though a peer or friend can absolutely help me, and many of them do, for my ongoing accountability, I actually find that working with a coach is the best for me. And you might like to do a mixture, or you might like to have a little accountability group where there's 2 or 3 of you. Again, these are all suggestions, and it's a matter of try it out, see how it fits on for you, and see what works best for you, and make some adjustments, change a few things around until you find what feels really comfortable for you. And you'll know that because within your body you will feel that sense of, oh, okay, this is what's working for me. Now, I just wanted to mention to you as well that a key part of my coaching program, Foundations of Success, is working with you to understand exactly where you are right now and what we actually need to do to get you to where you want to be. So if you would like to explore what it's like to have me as your coach and keep you accountable, then we should get together and have a chat and find the best options for you. And as I mentioned at the start, if after listening to these time management techniques, none of them resonate for you, but you still think that you need to find something that's going to help you be a little bit more productive in the time that you have available and take away some of that constant stress feeling, feel free to reach out and have a chat with me, because I'm sure I can suggest some other things and we will find something that resonates for you. So if you would like to catch up with me, you can message me on Facebook. But if you actually want to book in, I do a complimentary 30-minute business health check, and we can work through whatever suits you and get your progress started. So comment below business health check, and I will send you the link to jump into my calendar today. And with that, I am now going to say thank you very much for listening, and join me again next week. And I do this every week. I cannot remember what topic I'm doing next week, but I'm sure it'll be really interesting and fascinating. So look out for the event invite and join me again next week as we go through Michelle's formula for success. Now, before I say goodbye, there's just one more thing. What I want you to remember is that you have everything you already need within you. You just need to find it. Bye for now.